Why do you clap?
Hello. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Welcome to the 4th episode of the Good Texans Podcast. 4 episodes. Have we ever done 4 things in a row consistently in our lives?
Nope.
Okay. Well, today's going to be extra special. You have candy, you have cookie. Where did you get a cookie from?
Bunting Bakehouse.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so the agreement is we're going to go for margaritas, or they are, after this podcast. But have you already pre-gamed for the margarita lunch you're going to have?
No, but I knew he wouldn't get mad at me for getting a cookie if I did it on camera.
Wow. Okay.
I got a cookie because I am hungry from our Bunting Bakehouse, Jessica, our sourdough artist. Delicious.
So that's part of what we're talking about today, right? We're introducing some artists. We're going to talk about how we select artists, even if that's a thing. I mean, most of our artists are friends of ours and we know them, but we're going to talk about that. What else are we going to talk about today?
I don't know. I would just say let's go from there.
Let's go from there. Awesome. All right. So, but before we get started, Camille,
what?
I received a little package. And in the last couple of podcasts,
I have no idea what is happening.
We've touched a couple of audiences, right? Like we have, 30,000 subscribers now, heading up there, like
I don't
33
think you
or
can
something.
say that.
We have 30,000. We have 33. And I was starting to brainstorm with a really good friend of mine. His name is Claude.
What tool are you using to open that?
So this is a leatherworking tool. It's another episode because it's a really cool tool. It's new. It's from Tandy. It's real nice.
Like Sweeney Todd.
You're not supposed to use it for box opening, but I thought it looks cool.
London.
So I'll use it for that. But as I'm just rewatching the podcast over and over and over again, I noticed that, hey, we're probably shooting like a specific target market, which is like makers and, people who make things. And then I thought, how do we broaden our horizons? So then I took out a second mortgage, jumped on eBay, and got something that I think is going to work. So Camille, if you wouldn't mind reaching into this box, because today
What are you doing?
we're going to be opening Pokemon cards. It's cool. Trust me. Like online, they're doing it.
Did you
Everyone's doing
already
it.
open this?
No, we're going to do it. It's like a thing. Like people do it.
Dude, you do this with the kids.
No, I know. I got them some too.
Did you you bought this?
Yeah, dude.
You have not opened these yet?
No!
Oh.
This is part of the thing. Look, we got them here. They got if you get the flaming dragon, it can pay off our mortgage. Isn't that awesome? Mm-hmm. So I'll go first. Okay, cool. So we're trying to reach more audiences. So we're also going to sometimes have some Pokemon card openings. Ready? Okay. I'll just throw it on the floor. It's a workshop. Mm-hmm. All right, cool. So, you ready? This one.
You don't even know what you have.
This one.
You're,
Yeah, this is
you're just showing people the
There's
thing.
a Togetic. Oh, that's a name, Togetic. Togetic. We got Ghastly. We got this one everybody knows. Pikachu. We got Slurping Puffer. We got Team Rocket's Man. We got Spirit something. And we got Rocket's Meowth. I think that's it.
Meow.
And then this Skaggy guy. And then this flying thing. And then the energy. That's it. Okay, well, nothing in there. We need the, what's it called? The fire thing. Your turn. You ready?
I'm doing it?
You're doing it too. I got 2.
How do you open them?
Just tear it open from the top.
I don't know how. My finger doesn't work.
Some of the people that I watch, they do it real quick. But you can take your time.
Where's your Sweeney Todd knife?
Oh, you don't need a knife to open that, Camille. You might damage the cards inside. Okay, make sure when you're doing it to show to your camera so we can see exactly what you got.
Which camera?
That
This one?
Yep. And I'll say you got a Oddish. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is, dude. I don't know what that is. A lightning ball, a Sazzler. What the heck? What are these things? That thing. Oh, that thing's pretty cool. Let me have this. This is pretty cool. This is called a full art rare, I think. Look, oh, you're done. Yeah, you're done. Look, you actually got a good one, babe. We can get like 1/10 of our money back by selling this online to a person who needs it. Good job, huh?
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. You didn't know what was in that box? You didn't know the box just showed up back there? You didn't think to open it or anything?
No, I tried to open it, and then you told me not to open it because it was for the podcast, and it was going to be a surprise.
I know. Good surprise, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's jump in. What are we doing today, Camille?
I don't even know anymore. We're going to talk, we wanted to talk about our artists, so I apologize in advance to our artists because you got stuck with a Pokemon intro.
What do you mean? It's to broaden our audience. Imagine 30 subscribers.
We're 4 episodes in. We're like, our audience that love, like, who is watching now, but we already got a thumbs down. So what if you get to the Pokemon side of things and people are like, I thought this was like
let me tell
about
you.
a leather.
That was a private conversation I had with you, okay?
I thought this was a leather business.
So we got a lot of thumbs up, there's 1 thumbs down.
Why are we doing Pokemon cards?
We got a lot of thumbs up, but we have 1 thumbs down so far in one of the episodes or whatever. I think it was a short. And I was so focused on it that I researched analytics pretty deeply, YouTube analytics. And yeah, you can't find out who thumbs it down.
No.
But I went all the way
reason.
deep. And yeah, but it's okay. It's fine. Let's keep going, Camille.
Okay, so I'll ask the first question.
I like it. Question to me or just to us?
I think to us in general.
Okay.
So we're talking about the artists in our shop because we are an artisan retail shop and we sell the leather and candles that we make in-house, but we also invite other artists to join our work or to join our shop and then sell what they make, which is pretty groovy and cool. And so today we just kind of wanted to talk about that idea and how we choose our artists or how they come to us and how we collaborate together, and how we've built our shop based on our brand, but have included people that continue to build within our brand, but also have their own brand. Like, does that make sense?
No.
Curating. Like, we're curating like our experience, right? Because whenever we've done markets in the past and we'd create an experience, it was always our products, but it was beyond that. It was the experience that we created. So from, the carpet that was in there and like how we set things up and display and stuff. And so now it's just natural that we have other artists and what they make and how it kind of goes into the fold of our shop. I like that. Folds into our brand.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay.
That
cool.
makes sense.
I found my way.
I think before we start with this, I think it's important to start with like when we opened our brick and mortar, like the stories that I tell with new customers coming in, new friends coming in is like we wouldn't have been able to open if it wasn't for some of our friends and some of our artist friends that said, oh, I'd love to be in a brick and mortar. I'd love to be in South Africa, right?
Right.
So starting with that, like how did that even start? It was a pretty quick turnaround, but from my point of view...
It was a quick turnaround.
And you have maybe a different perception, but from my point of view, oh my goodness, support from the get-go. And yeah, just take us through that. Like how did that work? How did that happen?
When we were playing with the idea of opening the brick and mortar, we reached out to a couple people that we'd known. Either we'd been in other shops with them before, like our stuff is with them and they're in a shop, or we've done markets with them before, and so we've created a relationship with them. And I think we're very lucky, and that's why kind of in one of our other episodes we were talking a little bit about markets. It's all about like the connection and the collaboration and who you meet with other artists, and so that's why I think doing markets is such like a important piece that did help us open our brick and mortar, because we made certain connections and we met other artists. So I'm just thinking, like, for example, like Fig Tree Pots, Renee. Yeah, so we've been doing markets with her going back 5 years.
You should see our cabinet at the house, our mug cabinet or whatever. Open that mug cabinet, it's literally just Renee. It's Fig Tree all over. I even accidentally, you're going to hear this, Renee, but I broke one of the mugs accidentally like probably a year ago or whatever.
Oh, you said the other day. I was like, what? When?
Yeah, time for me is a little weird. Yeah. But we still use it. It's the one without the handle. And
that thing is hard to break too.
Oh, it's awesome.
that's besides the
topic.
point.
Yep.
So Renee was actually one of the very first people that I reached out to about being in a shop. And I said, hey, we're thinking about opening this shop, and would you be interested in selling your products alongside us? And she was like 100% absolutely. She was completely in from the get-go. Yeah. And so she was one of the people, and my friend, again, I've talked about Katie before with Lost Valley Hat Bar. She's just like an all-around genius.
Yeah, she's been mentioned about all the podcasts so far.
Well, she had a shop too. Yep. So she did have a shop, and so some of the artists, like there's crossover, like Morgan Lacey Hart, like they are like really good friends, and so like there's some crossover in our shops. And then we were in a shop in Dripping Springs, and unfortunately they closed, but we met artists that way, and when we were in that shop, we've always kind of like we had like a little bit. We had connections, right? And so we had connections, and then like we knew who was good to work with, artists that are just as engaged with their branding and with the products and how they're made and talking about their products. And so that was something, I'm going off on a tangent, but that was something that was really important to us, is like when we bring people in, we want to know more than just the products we're selling. We want to know who the person is, how they're making their products, and a little bit about them and their passion behind it.
Exactly.
So I kind of went off on a tangent, but
no, I think that's perfect, right?
I love curating. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and that leads me to, I have a couple of questions, right?
Sure,
we have a couple of questions. So the next question I have here is, where do we usually find new artists and makers now?
Yeah. I think we have people who come in, which is great, because I would say that's also how we found ourselves getting started in shops, is literally just like not cold calling, but just like showing up and like, here's our business card, here's some of what we do. I mean, Jacques at one point was literally like finding boutiques that were artisan boutiques, and they were a vibe that was similar to us, and they had a story, and so like very thoughtful and mindful about who we were reaching out to, and then sending them just like a little package, like a sample package, to see if they would be interested in carrying our products. And so I encourage people to do that when they come into our shop and they're interested in being in a shop like ours. I'm interested in, who you are, what you make. So bringing in samples or pictures of their product, and then telling us a little bit about who they are, where they're located, and things like that. And if they're local, great. And if there's room for them at that moment, in the moment where we're at,
move pretty quick,
then we can move pretty quick. But we're also very conscious of any crossover. Yep. So right, like I don't want there to be an unhealthy amount of competition amongst our artists. Everyone has their own space, their own real estate. So I want to make sure that we're very thoughtful when we curate it in that way. And so, going in, and we receive artists that just come straight into the shop. And then I think we meet artists through those connections. People who come into a shop, customers who come into a shop. My friend Kayla just connected us with our new artist who does woven beaded earrings. I think I was wearing them in the other episode.
I'll overlay them.
Yeah. And so that was just because she was looking through, I think Instagram, saw her, loved her stuff, and then connected us through that.
And we're the first shop she's in officially, right?
That's
shop
cool.
wise?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, that's super
so
cool.
It's a fun experience. And then sometimes we go to markets. I know that's how we found Ruby and her mom, who makes jam. So Ruby's 13 and her mom makes jams, and so they were at the Blue Bonnet Festival last year. Yeah, she makes a little crochet.
You didn't say that.
I thought I said. I'm sorry. No. But I remember at the Blue Bonnet Festival last year, which is also coming up again this year already, we spotted her stuff and we tracked them down, and now they're both in our shop. So lots of different ways, markets, showing up in the shop, ready with what they have, and then just connections.
Yeah.
Word of mouth.
Heck yeah. Cool. I think the next part we can talk about, because it's something that I've heard questions on with new artists coming in, or just questions in general, is like, what's the difference between consignment and wholesale? You want to talk about that a little bit?
You can talk about that. This is from like the business perspective. So I think customers are going to be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But
so as a maker, if y'all are ever curious about turning that hobby into a business, episode 3 was 3, right?
Yes.
3?
Yes.
Yeah. Episode 3, listen to it. It's the last one. If you're ever curious about moving that hobby into a business and you come into a store that you feel like, hey, you can vibe with, and the cool thing is we're going to end this episode of showing you some awesome artists in our shop, but that's beside the point. If you're ever curious about should I sell my products as wholesale or consignment, what's the difference? Typically what we have at our store is, we have some wholesale accounts, and those are typically with those items that have some perishable, a perishable date on it. It's maybe more of the less one of a kind and more of I wouldn't say mass produced, because we still partner with like small businesses making them. But one example is like a grocery product, like a popcorn or some snacks or things like that. Those we typically purchase at wholesale. And that means we front the cost right up front to receive it at a wholesale percentage, which is typically, the most common is around 50%. But some, brands that are maybe a little bit bigger, the wholesale split might be 60 in their favor, 40 in our favor, things like that. But what's different between a wholesale and consignment is wholesale, we assume the responsibility as the shop owners. Because as soon as we accrue and take responsibility of those products, I can't give it back, right? So say it's chips or something, and we buy 10, and before the expiration date, we sold 5. That 5 becomes shrink or deducted from our margins. So that's the difference, or that's wholesale. Now consignment, that's what we typically offer, especially our like handmade, one-of-a-kind artists, and I think all our artists. I think we may purchase just a couple of items wholesale, but that consignment split can range from, we've seen on the other side of it like 50-50, all the way up to about 65-35. And we're typically in the better end of that range just because we've been on the other side. We've been to shops where like we can't even make a profit selling our leather work because it takes so much, not just time, but also supplies and things to make it, that percentage just doesn't make sense to us. So
yeah, and I think, but also we're in a better situation because transparency, our candles are our best seller. So we still make money, right? Like 100%, I don't think we could be running our shop if it was just standalone leather and candles. Like we need the artists and what we've created.
Oh, of course.
So that's what I'm saying. Like we can offer like a better consignment split, and I don't want to say exactly what it is right now, just because, it can change. Like everything's subject to changing, and I don't want to be like, oh, but you said on that one podcast that it was going to be this split, and then it's not that anymore, and I'm really sorry. But I just mean that we're in a better position to offer like a really nice and friendly split. So if you are an artist and you're looking at going off to do consignment, or you want to like venture off into a shop, I would say do the math and really know like what you're looking for. 50-50, I would steer away from, because
especially if you put your heart and soul into it,
and
then you barely get cost plus a little bit of margin. That it's again, maybe if it's a hobby, you love what you do, you want to get your products out there. I understand that.
You want the reach.
Yeah, you want the reach. I understand that, but rather than that, I would just start handing things out. Then, if that's the case, I wouldn't let it be in a shop, right?
Yeah.
But so I didn't get to the nitty gritty because we just talked about percentages and things, and that's just talking from the business side of it, like profit margins and things. But a lot of folks ask, like, what is that? What do you mean? Like, why do you get a split of stuff that I make? Well, a couple of things that I had to find out, because I felt like that. Our first shop we went into, I was like, oh my gosh, what do you mean? I buy everything, I make everything. Like, what's going on? Why are you taking this much percentage from me? What's going on? So that covers Absolutely everything. So what I talked about with wholesale is the liability falls on the business. And that means we are in charge of course, pricing, merchandising, pushing the item. And if it doesn't sell, tough cookies. We gotta cover it, right? Now in consignment, the liability falls onto the artist, right? So if something doesn't sell, or if it's seasonal, the business could say, hey, if you got some seasonal, like we got Bluebonnet Fest coming up, so we've requested from all our artists, hey, any Bluebonnet specific things, make anything, that make
if
things
they
that
want.
make things that you make, and please get some Bluebonnet items our way. Well, as soon as they come here, they can take some Valentine's Day items with them and switch it out. Also, what that split also covers is like we have operating hours and we have marketing and just a lot of
insurance, all the back end business stuff. Like
we have insurance,
and we do the taxes too,
and
the
the lease, and like all those things goes into consideration when thinking about that split. So I do empathize with some of the other small businesses that have a little bit larger fee, especially if they're in a much more expensive area.
Yeah,
and
for
things.
sure. Like when we were in places in downtown Austin, the consignment split was a lot harder on us, but at the same time, that was one of those times where it's like, okay, but we're just trying to get our reach. Like let's we're growing and we're expanding and we're trying to get ourselves out there.
Yeah.
And it's paid off because now we're here.
I love you. So hopefully that's made sense. I kind of jump all over the place, but the main things to remember about both is wholesale. Small business pays up front, and we assume the liability. Consignment, more for artists, more for one of a kind items. The consignment split is better favored for the artist, but the artist takes the liability of making sure that if something doesn't sell, they switch it out, they keep things fresh. And then I don't think I did mention, but we also merchandise. Camille mentioned earlier that each artist gets a little section in the store. Yes, but I love our eclectic display. Y'all, if you haven't been to the shop, come on by. It is awesome. We have sections for every artist. Soon, hopefully with these podcasts, we'll have little QR codes for every interview with the artist. That's going to be awesome. I love that because we already talk about all y'all artists all the time. But we also have an eclectic mix throughout of all our products. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. And then another really quick tidbit on consignment versus wholesale. To put it in perspective for what we do is when we're in a shop, we will do consignment on our leather, not necessarily our candles, but we will wholesale our candles. Why? Because we can make a lot of candles, right? That is a much, and we know our price point for selling our candles wholesale to, and they get to go across the country. I think we mentioned that before.
Over 40
and then
stores. And
for consignment, it's a little bit slower to make, so we know that it's going to be a little bit slower to sell, and that we will get more money back when we do consignment when it does sell.
Yeah.
So
it just makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. So hopefully y'all got that. What I'd like to end this podcast, because I think we got a message across, is to feature some awesome artists. So the question I had here is, who are a few artists in your shop right now that you're really excited about, and what makes their work stand out to you? So.
Well, I mean, I love all of the artists in the shop, but I can say that Georgie Blue just came in. Well, because she's literally the last person to just come in, and we don't have another artist that does oil paintings. We have watercolor, which we love, Miss Jacqueline Blackerby. Georgie Blue just came in. She's from San Angelo. Yes, San Angelo, I think. And how did I meet her? One of my really good friends, it's her mom. And she used to be a florist. So we put some of her pieces, they're very colorful, and we put them
oil painting, that's one that she does. There's a bunch of groovy stuff. Y'all just need to come to the shop. But there's vintage clipboards that's painted on real nice. There's clogs, or I call them clogs, but they're actually cobbler shoes, the wooden cobbler shoes. There's a trunk.
Yeah.
A huge, beautiful trunk. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I know, I just put like a couple of them in the back, and then
You need to tell
behind
me.
us. Oh, so I know that I picked up a desert willow.
Because I need my
stained
plug for
glass.
Desert Door. So tall.
For stained glass. She has a workshop on Saturday, so I'm plugging her. But she makes all these really beautiful blue bonnet stained glass pieces, which are just like really funky and cool. And we have a lot of her.
She doesn't just make
here.
that. She does stained glass. She does.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
There's lots of stained glass. She's a stained glass artist.
What is this little thing?
Oh yeah, well
What
of
is
course,
this little
right.
thing?
So these are wired beads and they're crosses. This person is especially special
She's okay.
because it's his mom.
It's my mom.
So that's how we know him.
Shout out, Mom. Well, she makes clothes and stuff too, but
Yeah, no,
crosses
I
as
know.
well. All right, so who's next?
I think we have Omar.
Yep.
Yeah, Omar Zavala is also an amazing artist, and he's from the Rio Grande Valley. And he used to work at HEB with you, didn't he?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, nice. So it's really cool. He does incredible woodworking, and he does a lot of custom work, especially for like military personnel. So yeah, and I think one of the really cool things about how we also curate the shop too is that we're conscious about the price point of things for people. So like Omar's is handmade. It's one of a kind. It's
big
beautiful,
pieces.
unique, bigger pieces. So his might be on one scale, and then we have like your mom's cross. I think she has hers marked as 25. So it's still handmade and still made with passion, but there's still like a nice price point. I think sometimes there's maybe like you think like you have to have a lot of money in order to buy handmade, and that's not necessarily always true. Like you can still buy handmade at a happy price point. Anyway, so I think about that a lot. And then Alex, she's really cute. I love her. Works of a cork. She does something called pulled art. I think there's different types of it.
What's block printing?
Block printing, pulled art. It's basically just you take like a really big piece of it looks like an eraser to me.
Like plastic or something.
Yeah,
right?
and then you carve into it, and it's almost one and done.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like you. Anyway, I'm gonna totally get it wrong, so she'll have to come onto the podcast,
Yeah,
and then
she needs
she
to come
can explain all about it. Because I tried to do block printing
Oh,
for
yeah.
Mamas
Little
and
ones.
Makers workshop,
Yep.
and it was rough. It was real rough. But I think, to kind of close it out too is, if you are an artist and you're interested in being in our shop, or you're interested in becoming or like going out to a shop and being in a shop, maybe it's not ours. Kind of like I said in the beginning, I would say bring your products into the shop. Show us what you got. Bring an Instagram with you if you have like your Instagram handles. Show us pictures if you can't bring your physical products, and just show us and talk to us. And same thing if you're going out to a different boutique, go and do the same thing. People love a story. They love to see what's handmade and learn about you and passion. And if you're interested in wholesaling your products, like maybe you can make a bulk supply of items, sell it at a certain price point, and then let the shop decide how much they want to sell it for. We also do wholesale. So like Kiera, like she just came in and we wholesale with her, and she just dropped off some more of her tallows. She's local. She's in Leander. She's pretty close. And so we wholesale with her, and we still know her, and we still know her story, and her products are incredible, so we'll always be carrying them.
She's awesome. And we
So,
got
yeah.
the top labels, and this is a really nice
So
label.
if you did want to wholesale, my point is, again, she actually, I think, just came in. So she was
Yeah.
also someone who just came to the
Oh, yeah.
shop. This is what I do.
Yep.
Here's some samples.
We're actually looking for tallow. We were looking for local tallow.
Yeah, and then, but if that's not a possibility, reach out to people, email them, find their website, Instagram them, all the things. The worst that someone can say is no. It's a little bit more annoying when they don't answer at all. But the worst that can happen is just saying no. So.
Yeah, and if I can add to that, I can't, because yeah, you're absolutely right. My biggest thing is just, if you're coming in to talk to us, bring something. Either if it's products that you make, or just like she said, an Instagram or something to show us. That's very important, because we'd like to see what it is. Just because there's been some cases where folks come in, they tell us what they make, but I don't know, and they don't have pictures. If somebody's local, why should they come and visit, or should they come and visit the shop? Yes, of course. That's a funny question to ask, but that's the closing question. Thanks, prompt writer.
So it was, why should they come and visit the shop? Because you're meeting local artists. You're meeting, you're meeting people, you're meeting artists and what they make, but you're meeting them at our shop, which is a common point for them. So, they might be in Houston, and unfortunately you might not make your way out to Houston to go meet them in person at a market that they're working, which I'm sure they are doing, but you can at least meet them in our shop, and we will tell you all about them. And so that's kind of a really cool point. And then sometimes you do get to meet our artists. Erica, she makes amazing jewelry. She lives in La Paz, and sometimes you see her working here. Yeah. So it's just a really cool meeting point to support local, support artists, and get to know them. So that's why.
I love it, Camille. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. That concludes the 4th episode of the Good Texans Podcast. Hopefully next time, episode 5, we'll have some more Pokemon cards to reveal?
No.
No? Okay. Well, that's a no. But we got some good hits today. Awesome. We'll see y'all next time. That's the customer. Bye-bye.
Bye.
There's no one there.
Hey, spooky.
The little one.